Hey guys, this is Avi from Flow Village, and as you know, we are still stuck in the Corona times, stuck at home, and we are trying to do our classes as regularly as possible at the same time. And I thought that I would just post another video of a short movement flow, which you can practice at home. Let me know how you like it. If you want to see something else, just let me know and we will post something for you guys. So before I get into it, let me quickly show you the flow, and then we will do a short warm-up, and then we'll break that flow down like into tiny chunks. All you need to do just follow along with me and it'll be great. So for now, just sit there and just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so that's the flow that we'll be looking into. May seem very easy to you or very complicated, doesn't matter. You know, let's just have some fun in the next 10 or 20, 25 minutes. I'll take you through the whole flow. Just follow through with me. We'll start with a warm-up session. So we'll just start with a little bit of mobility of the neck and upper body, and then we'll get into the flow. So let's start with our head. You don't need to settle like me. Find whatever comfortable position. Just try to keep your spine straight. You can also be standing if you want to, which is also fine. We start with rotation of the head. Start circling in any direction that you want. Big circles. Try to explore the range of motion that your neck allows. Reverse the direction. See, at the same time, if you can, incorporate your breath with it. So every time your head comes down, exhale. When it comes up, inhale. Start rolling your shoulders, big circles. And let's reverse. Now let's lift the elbows up and let's warm up the elbows. Make a fist, start circling in any direction. Now we will start reversing the direction. So before you do that, pay attention to which hand is rotating in which direction, and then let's change the direction. Let's come to wrists, interlace the fingers, start rotating the wrist. Once again, doesn't really matter which direction you start with, as long as we do it on both the sides. So just reverse the direction. So quick wave. Opposite direction. Let's come to all fours. Bring the wrist below the shoulders. And from there on, what we will do is we'll start rotating our upper body from one side to the other, all the way around. You will see at some positions you would have a little bit more stress on your wrist. At some positions it's not that much, which is fine. Reverse the direction. Okay. Let's flip the hands over. You can start by flipping only one hand, or if you can flip both the hands, doesn't really matter. If this is difficult for you, you can always do one at a time, which is also fine. So just place the top of the hands on the floor. Try to keep the elbow as straight as possible. If you find it difficult to keep the elbow straight, some people have to bend their elbows in order to come into that position. If you're one of them, consider moving the hand a little bit closer to your knee. If it's closer to your knee, you can actually straighten the elbows. However, if you're the ones who has like a hyper extended elbows, and this is very easy for you, you can always move the elbow away from your knees. Flip the hand forward again. Turn the fingers on the outer sides. So the right hand to the right, left hand to the left. And then we basically shift our weight to our right side and shift our weight to our left side. And then turn the fingers to point towards each other, and we continue doing the same thing. This time, try to really press the heel of the palms into the floor, because they will have a tendency to come up as you move your weight to the opposite direction. Okay, enough with the hand. We'll come up to our spine now. I'll turn sideways so you can see me properly. And start with a few of the cat-cows as they say in yoga. So as you inhale, sink the belly, look up towards the ceiling, arch the back. As you exhale, start from the crown of the head so the head goes down first. Start pushing the floor, create space between the shoulders and roll the bump back to the middle of your spine. And as you go down, start looking up first and roll the shoulders back, sink the belly and the chest down. Once again, head first, roll downwards along your spine. Head first, roll downwards along your spine. A couple of more times. Last one. Okay, let's come back to neutral spine. From here, widen the knees a little bit. And let's come to our child's pose, but with your hands in front of you. Come to your fingertips, lower the forehead down towards the floor. If your spine is too flexible, you could probably lower the chin down or even the chest down. If your spine is not that flexible, you may even be somewhere like that, which is also fine. Slowly walk the hands to the right. Stay on your fingertips. Feel the stretch on the left side of the body. Return to the center. And let's go to the other side. Return to the center and push yourself up to a seated position where you're basically in an S seat. So this position is called S seat, whereby, or a sign of 4. Many people call it with different names. I call it S seat, literally because it looks like an S. Okay. So from an S seat, we'll start warming up the hips a little bit. So I take my hands behind me and I lean on my hands to basically, I have a little bit of weight on my hands. Then I lift both the knees off, lower them to the other side. We just swing them from one side to the other a few times. And then we start circling the legs. So basically circle, big circle with the right, big circle with the left. And then we lie down. Hands on either side, knees pointing up. We lower both the knees to the left, swing the right leg over and bring it down. And same on the other side. Okay, and then bring both the legs up and just rotate the cuff. Reverse the direction. One side is always a little bit more tricky than the other one. Okay, there you go. Once you're done with that, then we can slowly move on to our flow. So the flow, where the very first step is basically you come from a standing position and you do something which is like a monkey or a chimpanzee or whatever that is. So it's kind of like you're standing here. You reach for the floor with your opposite hand. So with your right hand, reach for the floor with the opposite hand. Reach for the floor with the left hand this time. Switch your weight to your hands for a tiny bit and you swing forward. So what essentially happens is here, I let the far leg, so my right leg, come, and basically it's about to knock on my left foot when I switch my leg. Okay? So that's exactly what happens. So this is here, here, here. All right? Now, what we don't want to end up in a standing position again. We want to come down to the floor. So how do we do that? So here, what we do is everything remains exactly the same, except for the fact that I'm landing on the outer side of that sheen, right? And my foot is pointed, right? So I would landing on the outer side so that the fleshy part of my calf here lands on the floor first, okay? So once again, here. Okay, there you go. Be very careful that your knee is not pointing downwards, but if you do, you would hit your bone here, so your kneecap will get quite a bit of a pain. However, if you just turn the foot just a tiny bit, it's very smooth and soft. You will not feel a thing, right? Okay, there you go. So the first step, once again, right hand, left hand, and you come down. Once you're down in this position, you take your right hand, extend it further forward, and it'll take your chest down towards the floor. My chest is right now resting on my thighs, okay, and my hand is extending. And from there, I gently roll myself to my side and I roll to my back. Okay, from the beginning. Right hand, left hand, land. Right hand goes straight forward and I roll to my back. All right, from here, next thing that happens is I'm lying down, my knees are pointed up towards the ceiling, my feet on the floor. I drop both the knees to the left and I swing that right leg over and I push myself up. Now, a couple of things happened here. In order for me to smoothly come up, I need to be very close and small. See how my elbow is tucked right where my hip crease is. That's very important because otherwise you will have a lot of trouble getting up from that position. So what happens is knees drop to the side. I make myself small, elbow coming down to my hip crease, shoulder very close to my hand. The right leg, which is on the top here, swings forward, right? And here, once I'm in this position, this hand, so my left hand, which is on the floor, starts pushing so I could come up. Okay? So here you go. Once again. Knees drop to the left and I push myself up. From the beginning. Right hand, left hand. I slide down. Right hand goes forward. I roll to my back. knees to my left, and I push myself up. Okay, great. From here on, what happens next? I want to basically roll over to the other side and end up in the same position like this. So from here, I come up, I lower myself down. So once again, my butt is now actually quite high up. I can use my hands on the floor if I need to. I just lower my butt down, back on my heel, forearm on the floor, very close, not here. That'll be difficult for me to go down. Very close to my thigh. And then I'll try to lower my shoulder all the way down. However, it's not possible for me to lower my shoulder down without falling down, which is fine. I want to fall down, but just a tiny bit, as little as necessary. So once I'm here, now I cannot go down anymore without falling. So I fall and I push myself up on the other side. Okay? Once again, go to the other side. Here we are. From here, butt goes down. Forearm in contact with my thigh on the floor, palms facing down. I lower my shoulder as much as I can. When I cannot anymore, I just drop, roll, tuck myself in the same position on the other side. Look at my elbow, tuck nicely in my hip crease. My shoulder very close to my hand, so I'm making myself small. Left leg comes forward. Then I start pushing with my right hand to push myself up. Okay, now if you do it as slowly as I'm doing, it's a little bit more, it requires a bit more muscle, right? However, if you're doing it with a momentum, it's a lot more easier. It's as simple as from here, you just go down. The momentum basically takes you on either side very nicely. Okay, so from the beginning, we start in a standing position, right hand, left hand, slide down, right hand extends, roll to my back, lift myself up, go down, lift myself up on the other side. Okay, we will do it one more time so we end up on that position. Roll, here you go, all right? And once we end up in that position on the other side, then what we do is a knee slide. So we will end up something like this, right? To do a knee slide, what you need to do is left hand, in this case, goes to the floor. Notice how my shoulder is not above the wrist. I'm actually reaching forward, so I'm a little away. I'm not putting the hand straight down. I'm putting it a little bit further away from me, right? Meaning, I actually have to put a bit of weight on that hand in order to stack my shoulder on top, all right? Once I do that, I walk that right foot a little bit to the front. So this slides forward. Then I need to shift my weight on that hand. And watch what happens. The moment I shift my weight on that hand, the weight on this knee reduces drastically because I'm basically moving it from here to here. Okay, that's all that I'm doing. So the moment I shift my weight there, what I could do is I would use this leg to push myself forward, to propel myself forward a little bit. I'll just kick it a little bit backwards, right? What happens is then, from here, I could slide, I could make a little half a circle or so, right? So once again, once we end up in this position, hand, this leg walks forward a little bit, shift weight on that hand, and let's make a little circle. Now the problem that I see most people have is basically they forget about the leg that you're kicking with, right? So this leg, after you basically kick it, you want to keep the same configuration of the feet, right? And that's what people forget. What they do is, this is what happens. So they forget to bring that leg along. That stays there at the back, right? So it's important, the moment after you kick, immediately tighten the muscles of the leg so that your structure remains in the same form. So from here, I move this leg forward and I'm actually taking the leg with me, okay? Great. So let's start from the beginning. Right hand, left hand, slide, right hand goes forward, roll to your back, lift up on top of your knee, roll to the other side, knee, roll to the other side, knee. And now, left hand on the floor, right leg walks forward, knee slide. Let's continue from there on. This calf over here is kind of left behind. That's the like the rarest part of you at the moment. What I want to do is turn that calf, so I'm pivoting on my knee. Turn that calf until this comes roughly at the same spot as this leg is, and I come down to an S seat. Okay? So what happened was, after the knee slide, we ended up in this position. I just rotated that calf, so I pivoted on that knee, and I came back to an S seat. Great. So from now on, let's start from the beginning once again. Start from standing. Right hand, left hand, slide. Right hand goes forward on your back. Roll to your left on your knee. Go down on your right knee. Go down on your left knee. Now, left hand on the floor, right foot walks forward, knee slide. Rotate that left shin, lower down to an S seat. Continuing from here on, I lower my elbow down onto the floor, touching my thigh all at the same time, lower my shoulder close by, and I roll to my back. Okay, good. So we end up lying down on our back. From the beginning, we will do it one more time, so just follow along with me, and then we'll continue from here on. Right hand, left hand. Right hand goes forward. Push yourself up. Roll. The other side. Roll. Come up. Left hand on the floor. Right leg walks forward. Knee slide. The shin turns. Hips on the floor. S seat. Lower down to your back. Okay, let's continue from here. We just rotated from here all the way to our back. Immediately what we do is we bend the right knee and we swing the left leg up to the right, okay? So we came down and this knee drops and the left leg swings to the right. As the left leg comes back, it continues the swing to the left. Okay, so once again, let's take it from the knee slide, from here. Left hand on the floor, this leg walks forward. Knee slide, this continues turning. S seat, you roll to your back. Right knee falls on the floor, left leg swings to the right. As the left leg comes back, it continues swinging to the left. And now notice how my heel is high. My foot is not completely flat. I'm trying to tuck my foot as much as I can, right? And once I have that, I would basically, using this leg, lift the hip up. So my hip is not on the floor, I'm slightly lifted up. And then this hand, which is on the floor, my left hand, kind of acts like a wall. Let's imagine it's a wall that my hip needs to cross. But wall, you cannot move it, so the hand remains where it is. I lift my hip up and I arch my back and I basically end up crossing that wall with my hip. Okay, so once again, from another angle, I'll turn around. So what basically happened was, I dropped that right leg, it swung in that direction, it came back, and then my wall is positioned here, move a little bit to that side, and the leg continues. Basically when it came back, it kept on swinging, tucked, okay? I lift my hip up, I arch my back, cross the wall, and I'm down on the floor, but on the side of my hip. I don't go all the way down to my belly. I want to stay on the side of my hip because that helps me with the next step. Okay, let's do it from the beginning once. We start from standing, right hand, left hand, come to the floor, hand extends, roll to your back, on your left knee, push up. Imagine there's a wall here. You're just banging into a wall and you're rebounding back all the way down. Wall here, banging onto it, rebounding back. And the last one, you come up here, left hand on the floor, right leg walks forward, knee slide. Continue sliding that shin until you're on S seat. Lower yourself down all the way to the back. And once you're on your back, bend the right knee, left leg swings up, left leg comes back. Continue swinging to the other side, tuck your foot, arch your back, and you lower the hip, crossing the wall. Okay, let's move on from there. So notice in what position I'm in. I'm on the side of my hip, my left shoulder is on the floor, my right hand is firmly placed on the floor. My back is arched, okay? Now, all of these things are going to help me in our next position. So, watch. I'll do that crossing the wall once again. This time I'll make sure I have a little bit of room around me. I arch here. Now I'm going to do two things. One is I'll pull with this hand downwards. And at the same time I'll tuck my knees close to my chest as much as possible. Okay? So what happens is from here, I do a little circle. Okay, it's a little spin that I'm doing. This hand at the back, it's kind of useless there. So you might feel that after you cross the wall, this hand is kind of locked in a weird position there. What you need to do is just forget about that hand. Just let it be there. Don't do anything with it, because we will take that hand out later on after the spin gets over. Okay? So for now, just forget about that hand. So once again, what happens is, I'm lying down here, left leg goes up, kind of tucked, hips up, hips cross the wall, I'm positioned for the spin, hand pulls down, knees come close to the chest, and I do a little spin. Okay? From the beginning. We're almost there. We start in a standing position. Right hand, left hand, slide down to the floor. Right hand goes forward. You lower yourself down to your back, roll to your left, push yourself up. Hit the wall, come down, hit the wall on the other side. Come down, hit the first wall again. Left hand on the floor, right leg sweeps forward, knee sweep. Continue turning that left shin until you're in an S seat. Elbow close to the thigh, shoulder close to the hand, roll to your back, lower the right knee down onto the floor, left leg swings forward, left leg swings back, continue swinging, keep it tucked, raise the hip, arch your back, cross the wall, spin. Okay? Okay, we finished the spin here. What happens next? Then, from here, what I'll do is, this is the time I want to free this hand, which is kind of crippled at the back. So what I do is, I raise the hip, take the hand out, and lower the hip down. Okay? So meaning, you just need to do it a bit more smoothly. So it's kind of, and lower it so down. Alright? Good. So from here, once I free up the hand, the next thing that happens is, I drop the knees to the other side, come very close, so I'm tucking my elbow once again, watch, and both my palms flat on the floor. From here, I'm in a position to start pushing the floor and using my legs at the same time to come up to standing. So that's basically it. I mean, like, it's a relatively simpler flow. I mean, if some of these moves are very new to you, I mean, it's not a complicated thing to do. You just need to, you know, like take a look at it, practice a few times each of those tiny things, and then just put them all together. I think the toughest part is to putting them all together, right? Not doing those individual moves. I mean, all of us can go down to an S seat. All of us know that what it is to actually bring the elbow close to the thigh and the shoulder next to the hand, and then roll to your back, knees to the left and right, raising the hips. You know, like these are not rocket science really, right? All of us can do it, right? It's just that putting all of them together and building it in a consistent way to have the flow there, right? So that's basically it. So have fun with the flow. If you have any questions, concerns, drop me a note. If you want a specific part to be broken down further, just let me know. I'll create another video and put it up there for you. Have fun.